take your questions.
Sean, with Levi, we saw yesterday that he went from a full participant to limited. Just what kind of an update do you have on him after yesterday's practice?
Yeah, I'll know more, Jay. I feel like it's trending in the right direction. I'll know more when we get out here. So I expect him to practice, though. Excuse me.
Coach, your defensive line rotation, week 1 you had 10 guys, last week you had 8 guys. I'm sure that he probably had something to do with the rotation last week, but Leslie's kept it pretty balanced. I know he's also talked about if he wants to go with a hot hand, he's going to do that, somebody doing well. How do you kind of weigh that out week to week? Because, I mean, those 10 and 8 are two very different things for who you've got up, in a given week.
Yeah, and Chris, I think it's just got to be week to week, as you mentioned, and as Leslie mentioned, who's the hot hand, and that's the competitive piece too. That's the reality of it, is we've got some options there, and so guys got to know that they got to bring it every week, and I think that's a healthy dynamic.
Sean, last week, coming off a loss, you emphasized 1 week, wipe the slate clean. How is it more challenging after such an emphasizing win to do the same thing and approach this week?
Well, this is a 1 week at a time league, and you watch the games from week 1 to week 2 and the results, and those teams, a lot of those teams that started off 1-0, ended up 1-1, and some of the teams that started off 0-1, next thing you know, they're 1-1. So you just gotta be able to reset and detach yourself every week from the previous week, all the while learning from the previous week, and staying hungry, right? So the season ebbs and flows. The season has its ups and downs, and again, as I mentioned earlier this morning, I think sometimes we forget that and expect it to be just a clean straight line that looks like this, and it's usually anything but that. And so you got to continue to learn and grow and play as free as you can, and stay with it, because it's a marathon.
John, Emmanuel Sanders won a community award today from the NFLPA. For a guy who's new to this community, how neat is that to see that he's embraced it so quickly and is being recognized for that?
Yeah, that's great to hear. Great to hear. I mean, we play the game, we coach this game. It's important to our community. That said, there are bigger things in life, and that's keeping proper perspective on things. And Emmanuel Sanders is a great, to me, example of using his platform, the NFL, and his job in the NFL to impact the community in a positive way.
Emmanuel said that when he was talking about that block on Motor's touchdown, he said, I just saw him kind of dart right by me, and afterwards I thought, man, that might have been better than me scoring a touchdown. I guess just when you hear things like that from a guy that is so new to this team, I mean, what is that like for you to hear that and to also see that on the field?
That just makes me smile, honestly. I mean, it brings a lot of joy to my heart. That's what a team's all about, is when a receiver, a wide receiver that gets celebrated, if you will, for catching touchdown passes, when he determines that that's one of his favorite plays of his career in that role, I think is phenomenal. And that he's a great leader for our football team, and so that sets a great example for our players.
Has there been any sort of an acclimation these first 2 games to playing in front of fans again?
I would say, just from my vantage point, maybe a little bit, and probably the players would say the same. But this is a game that's meant to be played in front of fans. It's an emotional game, and so it's great that the fans are a big part of it here.
Sean, how important is Dawson Knox to the blocking operation this weekend, especially against a talented defensive line like Washington?
Yeah, always, Joe. Always. He's always a big factor for us. He's really improved in that area of his game, and I think that goes back to his off-season work in the weight room and his conditioning plan, and the job Rob Boris does with our tight ends.
Was Star's groin injury, was that something that popped in the game on Sunday?
Yeah, a little bit. In fact, before the game, in pregame warm-ups there. So he did a great job working his way through it as well. So.
And confident. Where does his status stand right now, do you think?
We feel good about where he's at. Again, just like the other ones that were mentioned, we'll go out and see what it looks like today.
He had a good game last week.
that popping up, does that kind of speak to him as the veteran that he is?
Yeah, that I think he's hungry. You know, and he hadn't been out there in over a year. So, you know, I feel like also he feels like, hey, you know, he being a part of the team, he's got to do his part, his 1/11th, as we say, and I feel like he takes that to heart and holds that very dear in terms of his accountability to his teammates.
You've known him for a long time now, and I mean, even he's selfless with how he helped stop the run. But have you ever seen him pass rush the way that he did on Sunday against the Dolphins?
Yeah, and that's good to see. I have. I think sometimes that goes under the radar, and that's fun. That's enjoyable to watch, and I'm glad he's playing the way he is in the pass game, because he's definitely capable of doing it like that.